just realized this is the third video I'm filming in a row that I left what I was watching on YouTube on the entire time. Don't know if this mic is going to pick it up, but it may. So if you hear screaming men talking about zombies, that's what I'm watching. So it's June. This is a busy as hell month for us. We're moving in the middle of it into our brand new house we bought. Well, our brand new to us house that we bought. And so I came up with a concept that'll hopefully be a little bit easier, and then we'll bridge into July. So my vlog this month is try a chapter, so I've picked 10 books to read the first chapter of, and at the end of the vlog I'll pick which ones I want to read, and I'll read those for a vlog in July. The first of these is The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna. I know absolutely nothing about it. It involves Italians and deaths and like some kind of fantasy or magic. I have no idea, but I was interested, and for some reason the cover caught my eye, so I want to do that. That's why I picked it up, and it's been on my shelf for like 2 years. Next is Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. I quite enjoy Sophie Kinsella's books. Typically they're pretty light and a lot of fun to read. This one might be a little bit different. I think it's about a woman who has, she has an anxiety disorder. You're kind of catching up with her as she's working through it. It's pretty slim, and like I said, I do typically enjoy Sophie Kinsella books, so I'm kind of predicting that this will be one of the books that I do get to in July. Next is Flame in the Mist. This is, I feel like this is a Mulan retelling, and that's why I picked it up. It's a YA fantasy. Not huge into YA fantasy anymore, but this has been on my shelf, so I want to read it to either figure out if I want to keep going or if I should donate it to someone who's going to enjoy it more. I love the story of Mulan. The original ballad is really interesting to me, and I love most of the retellings of them. And so I'm excited to pick this up, and the cover again caught my eye. Next is Never Anyone But You. This is a lesbian love story of two women who leave Paris when a war is looming on their front, and if they are discovered in Paris, then the Nazis will kill them. So I'm really excited. It sounds like a beautiful love story with a little bit of danger involved, and I think it'll be really hard-hitting and enjoyable. I got this one from my Willoughby Bespoke subscription that I had for a while there, and I don't know, I'm really excited about it. Next is Tess in the Road. I bought this when I did my original big bulk order of books for my channel way back when I started. It's the first in this series, although it's the third book in this world. And I think Tess is the stepsister, I think, of a character you deal with in the other books. I like fantasy. I like the way they describe the main character as like really ballsy and brash and like kind of an outcast, so I'm excited to see how it plays out. This book, Girl in the Afternoon, I have no idea where it came from, but it's about a girl who wants to become a respected painter, especially at the time that the book is taking place. Men are more the respected painters in the art world, and it says she ends up tutoring under somebody that's very famous and very well known. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes in terms of like relationship and work passion. It's intriguing. Next is a nonfiction, Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. I haven't read his other one, Sapiens, but I want to read both of them, and this is the one I have, so I'm going to start here. It's where humans could go. Next is Boy on the Bridge. This is the companion novel for The Girl with All the Gifts. I loved Girl with All the Gifts. I know a lot of people think zombie post-apocalyptic is overdone, and I would argue it's even done too much. However, whenever I pick it up, I usually enjoy it, and this one was, or at least the first one was particularly well done in my opinion, so I'm excited to pick up this. Hopefully it'll be very similar in terms of intrigue and science and thrilling aspects. Next is The Graveyard of Hesperides by Lindsay Davis. I think this is a woman who is being a detective in ancient Greece. I love the concept. I'm really interested to see where it goes. And this is not the first book in this series, but I think it's the first book for this character. And so I'm excited for that, and hopefully it'll be really good. And finally is Bloodline. I believe I got this from Value Village, actually. It sounds kind of interesting. It's trying to end Dracula's bloodline from the sounds of it, and then it's taking place during, I think, World War I. Again, like all of these, now that I've picked them up again, I'm super excited to pick up, and I'm really interested to see which ones kind of jump out at me and grab me in that first chapter, because I think it'll be a lot of fun and super interesting to do it. And then I'll pick the top 3 of these to read in July, and I'll talk to you guys about those when I do my vlog wrap up. So I'll see you in the next clip, which probably won't be for a few days. I'm filming this a little bit early to try to get ahead on at least some of my filming, because I'm getting behind, and it's bad because I'm moving. Anyways, so I'll leave it here, and I'll see you guys in the next clip. Peace. Hey guys! Don't mind my husband in the back. I just get to film in the living room now, and I need to punch out these videos as quick as I can. This is the first kind of clip for my June reading challenge. It's the Triad chapter. I picked 10 books. As long as you guys didn't skip through that first part, you'll know what they are. And I just have been picking off the top of the pile. So I started with these three. The first one was The Boy on the Bridge. This is a companion novel to The Girl with All the Gifts, which I reviewed very early on in my channel, and I loved it. I was really excited to pick this up. However, I picked this book up a while ago, and until now, never picked it up. First chapter isn't very long, but it hooked me quite a bit. It sets you up in this world. I'm not sure whereabouts it is on the timeline compared to Girl with All the Gifts. I believe it's before. Just the way it hooked, you're following scientists, and at the end of the first chapter, this one scientist finds out she's pregnant, and that she's just started this 15-month research tour, basically. And so I'm really interested to see where it goes. I know zombie apocalypse stuff has been really overdone, but I'm still really enjoying a lot of it. And so this is a very good candidate for me to read for next month's vlog. Next is The Graveyard of Hesperides by Lindsay Davis. I don't know. I feel like if I got into this book, it would be really interesting, but the first chapter just did not grab me. I really wanted to like it because it was ancient Rome with a lady detective, and it just, compared to the other 2 books I picked up, it just did not do it for me. And then the final one I picked up was Bloodline. This is the one where a soldier has come home from World War I due to injury and illness. His commanding officer was part of Dracula's bloodline, and now it was described as being on a quest to end his bloodline, but the first chapter is just dealing with him coming home sick, having nightmares, and you end on this nurse, like, reading his private journal, which I think, once we get into that, will kind of illuminate the situation for us. And this is just the way this one grabbed me with this first chapter, this is definitely another one that is a very good candidate for my July vlog. If not, I'll keep it and read it another time. I don't know if I mentioned it in the original clip, but any of these that I don't like and don't see myself reading based on my enjoyment of the first clip, I'm just going to donate. And that's all I have for you right now. We've been really busy packing and stuff, so I haven't had a chance to pick up any more of those first chapter reads yet, but I intend to get through a bunch of them this week, and I will check in after I've done another bunch of them. So I'll see you in the next clip. Peace. Guys, it's Nikki. I'm sorry if the sound in this clip is really weird. I can't find the mic I usually plug into my phone for vlogs, so I'm just gonna go with it. I have 3 more first chapters read here to go over with you guys. The first is Tess on the Road. This is a high fantasy book. So far, it's kind of set up that the main character you're following is not like other girls. This is a little bit young for me, but it was intriguing. The society seems to have a patriarchal religious aspect, and she is bucking against that based on this first kind of prologue chapter. And her twin sister, is kind of, she sees her as the shining example of what women should be. There is dragons involved, so they haven't turned up yet, but there's another character that has like dragon related things, so I'm pretty pumped. Next is Girl in the Afternoon. This one is about the Franco-Prussian War. It was in the late 1800s, 1870, I think. And the main characters are artists. The boy was brought in as a foster, and I think for the bulk of the book you're going to be following the girl, Amy, who's an amazing artist, but just how society works at the time, it seems like people are going to see women doing that art as like a frivolous thing. And like, I'm interested, but it's not hooking me the way some of the other books have, so I don't know if I'm going to do it for the vlog next month. The final one is Homo Deus. I really need to read Sapiens by this guy. The first chapter is actually like a preface. It's like 70 pages. I haven't read all of that, but I've read like the first 40-ish pages, and I'm really enjoying it. I actually think this will be one of the books I read next month. Kind of a brief history of humanity and things we've overcome, and I think the rest of the book is going to be kind of extrapolating where we're going to go. I'm just like really enjoying this experiment and getting through a bunch of books. I have 4 left. One I did read, but it's in my bedroom, and I'm getting ready for work, so I'm not going to go interrupt my husband while he's still sleeping. I'll talk to you guys once I finish those last 3 books and do all 4 and let you know what I'm reading next month. Peace. I'm just doing my final check-in and kind of not rating, but telling you guys which of these books that I read for this month's vlog I'm going to be picking up and reading in July. There's 3 more books off camera. I'll just talk about them once I get to that point. So the final 4 books I had to read the first chapters for were Flame in the Mist. This is a Mulan style fantasy book, I believe. The first chapter just kind of gives you an idea of the main character, well, the prologue. You witness the honorable death of, I can't remember the term for it, but it's suicide to kind of maintain as much honor as you can. And you start off in the perspective of a young boy who is the son of the man who dies, but you also get your first taste of the character you follow in at least part of the first chapter, which I read a little bit of after the prologue just to get a good idea of it. And Mariko, definitely very Mulan-esque character, very strong, not necessarily, doesn't necessarily have abilities that are going to fulfill her honor in the ways that society expects her to, but she does seem to have a lot of tricks up her sleeve, and I'm excited to kind of see how that character plays out. The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna. This one was really interesting. Again, it had like a little prologue or preface, and then I read that and part of the first chapter. This is about the life of a family member you're following a few generations down, and they're telling the story of this, like, great aunt or whatever. It sounds really weird, because there's no, like, I thought there was, like, a fantastical element to it, and it doesn't appear to be so far. It just appears to be, like, a family history with, like, dark secrets and this specific woman's trauma. And I'm very intrigued, and depending on what else I feel like picking, I might end up picking this just to give myself a good genre spread next month. Next is Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. Something happens before the book starts that gives the main character really severe anxiety. And this book is described as being her befriending one of her brother's gaming friends and kind of like working through some of that on her own. The first chapter makes her, I almost want to read this because I think her mother is going to make me super angry. And I almost want to read it so I can hate this character. But as with a lot of Sophie Kinsella's books, the main character, very upbeat, almost like manic internal monologue that's a little bit of self-depreciation in it. She is a little bit younger than some of the other main characters I've read. I believe it sounds like she's still closer to a teenager than some of her Sophie Kinsella's other books are, so I'm excited to see that one. Sophie Kinsella is one of my favorite kind of like chick lit author, so this is, for me, a really good contender. And then this is the one I talked to you guys about in the last clip that I had read, but then forgot in my room, so I didn't want to talk about it, and it's Never Anyone But You. It's about a lesbian relationship between two women. You meet them as teenagers. Well, you get a cold open of them as up in their 40s, but then the rest of the book is going to be following them growing up and how their relationship is kind of moving. And I'm really interested to see this one. I don't read, like, I love historical fiction. This one specifically also partially takes part during the Second World War, which I also really like. One of the characters, based on kind of how she talks and acts when you meet her as a teenager, I feel myself like getting ready to be really angry at her for how she's treating the main character. But this one I think is a really big contender as well, just because the lesbian relationship and just like the times they're living in, all of these things are things I love reading, and I just haven't necessarily read them all together, so that's really exciting. And like I said, first chapter, they do a cold open prologue of them when they're older. In the first chapter, you go back to when they're teenagers and first meet, and it hooked me, not a lot, but just what would make me pick this book up would be everything else that makes up this, that the back says is in this book, because they're all things I really do enjoy reading. So I have some of the books here on my lap now. I'll start with this one, The Graveyard of Hesperides. I'm actually going to not read this one, and I'm going to donate it. The very first chapter, like, really didn't catch my attention. I really wanted to like this. It's ancient Rome. It's a lady detective. It is part of a bigger series, so I'm wondering if I started at the beginning, if maybe I would enjoy this. The writing style and the characters that were introduced, I just didn't care for, and I don't actually see myself getting into this anymore. The Boy on the Bridge by M.R. Carey. I really loved The Girl with All the Gifts, which was the companion book for this. The science in it I just found really appealing, and I'm kind of excited to pick this one up. This is definitely in my to consider pile. I know not a lot of people loved The Girl with All the Gifts, but something about it really struck me, and so I want to give this book a try. Then there was Bloodline. This is during World War I, and you follow the main character who's returned home from the war, is really suffering from PTSD, and his intention is to end Dracula's bloodline. And the first chapter was pretty interesting. You don't really get to meet him yet, but he's come back from the war at this point. These two I just talked about. This I see myself reading later, but I honestly don't see myself reading it for next month. This book by Sophie Kinsella, this is 100% in my to-read pile, unlike these other ones, which are so far have been, I want to read them, but maybe not for July. Flame in the Mist also falls into this category. I've actually started reading a reading circle with my mom and my sister where we read out loud every week. We alternate who has the book, and I think this would be a really good book for that rather than to read on my own. Then we have The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna. I know I'd mentioned kind of based on what I pick, whether or not I'd pick this one, but I'm actually going to go with it. I really am interested in the premise and seeing how this woman's life plays out, because it just sounds like a crazy family with some weird secrets, so I'm really excited to see how they builds together. Alright, and so then I have my last 3 books here. I have Tess and the Road. It's a story that kind of has like a Not Like Other Girls main character, but I'm interested to see the main character kind of buck against the patriarchy, especially since it's such a religious-based patriarchy. So this is gonna, and there's dragons in here somewhere. I'm not sure where they show up yet, but there's dragons in it. And so I'm really kind of digging this kind of book. I think it'll really hit the spot in July. And I have a sunny backyard to read in. My husband and I are moving in in a week exactly from today into our first home. And I just feel like for some reason a coming of age journey will feel like really appropriate when I get to that part. So this is going to be in my pile too. So I'm going to read that next month. Girl in the Afternoon by Serena Burdick. This is the one that was during the Franco-Prussian War, so in like the late 1800s. I think it was 1878 when the book starts. And it's about the relationship between these two people. You follow the girl, I don't know if you get to the boy's perspective or not. The boy leaves in the middle of the Franco-Prussian War and just disappears off the face of the earth. The girl, as she gets older, gets more into the art scene and kind of reconnects with him. But where I've gotten to in the book with the first chapter is he's left and she's heartbroken. And so I'm really excited to see how that relationship rekindles and the kind of the emotions tied in with it. I'm not going to read it for the vlog next month, but I will keep it, and I'm definitely going to read it in the future. My goal is to read all of these books by the end of the year, and then this one I'm definitely going to read. It's Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. I still need to read Sapiens by him, but I have been absolutely loving this so far. There's a 70-page preface to this book, and I am just eating it up. I've read a little bit more since I talked to you guys last, and I'm almost done the preface and ready to get started into the meat of the book. It's a nonfiction, just kind of about, the preface is kind of summarizing where humans have gotten to, and the rest of the book is going to be speculation about where we're going to go. And there's something about the way he writes and the analogies he uses and how he's explaining things that just feels really accessible, and so I'm really, really excited to get through all of this. And so, I will show you guys the ones again that I'm going to read. Homo Deus, Tess and the Road, Finding Audrey, and The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna. I will probably start reading these pretty quickly. As you can see, some of them are a bit chonky for books for a vlog, but I will do another announcement video when I get into July's vlog, and I will connect with you guys there over these books. If you've read any of these 4 books that I've picked, or if you feel like I should read one of the other books, let me know in the comments down below, and I will talk to you guys there.